Hey everybody, it's Angela. I hope that you guys have been good and groovy since the last time that you saw me. Um, um, Out here in my car, I used to call this car confessionals, but I really want to share with you guys something that's been on my mind. And so the title, I think I'm going to title this video, "How Practicing Gratitude Has Cured My Depression," or how gratitude can cure your depression, something along that nature, because that really is what has happened to me. And I wrote a list because I want to stay, a little focused. So I think in the video I'm planning to post, that should be up now, I talk about ways in which to practice gratitude. Gratitude doesn't have to be this big, profound thing that you do. It's this really beautiful, simple tool that you practice and that you do in order to really give your thanks to the universe and showing your appreciation, right? So, I've dealt with depression on and off for so many years. And then in that other video, I did talk about this book, The Magic, which, by Rhonda Byrne. And it's got all these really great practices in it that you can do every day. And what I noticed was it took a couple of days, but after like the second to the third day, there was a shift. It was like my energy just shifted. So much has happened to me in my life, but here recently, and I want to bring it up just to give you guys perspective, and also because I'm not that far removed from it, is last year I was fired from a job, and it was the third time that I was fired from a job for the same thing, and it was for being tardy, so not showing up. Long story short, I work a job. I've had these really amazing jobs, but I start to check out mentally because it's not what I want to be doing with my life every day. These jobs have not been the way that I want to show up in the world. And so, I started just falling into woe is me. I keep getting fired. And part of it was not taking responsibility for, the part that I played in it, but also feeling like I'm in this cycle, like the same thing keeps happening to me over and over. And, what I'm a good person and what am I doing wrong? And not to make fun of myself, but, I want to laugh about it. I have a little space from it. But this book came into my life, and I was putting on a brave face to the world. I do believe in fake it until you make it, because that can also help to change your vibration. I started doing the practices, right? I started just really small, like, oh wow, I really appreciate the color of that grass. I grew up as an artist, so I really do appreciate color. Like that green is really vibrant. I appreciate that. And I'm writing all this down in my journal. Oh, I'm really grateful for my car. And it started out like that. Then I started noticing as the days and the weeks went by, oh my gosh, I'm really grateful for the spiritual growth that I'm experiencing. I'm really grateful that I've been able to forgive myself for the mistakes that I've made and that I've been able to learn from them. Then that grew into real soul stirring, quenching, really soul healing. Like I really started to recognize what the patterns were in my life, the traumas that I have experienced, the traumas that kept showing up, the self-sabotage and what that was about. A lot of it led to my childhood, and this is about doing the work. For a long time, when people on YouTube or gurus from any walk of life would talk about doing the work, Ayanna talks about doing the work, I never really fully understood it. Like, well, what is this work that you all speak of? And the work is facing your pain. The work is facing your cycles. The work is looking at yourself and not worrying about what the rest of the world thinks of you or the way you present yourself. The work is showing up for you, being willing to be vulnerable, being willing to take a look at yourself. Well, this video is going in a different direction than I expected, but it's a blessing. But that's really what the work is, right? And I decided that it was finally time for me to do the work. I've been running away from myself for the longest. I recognized, I had to be honest with myself, that we talk about, you hear a lot in life about fight or flight. I'm a flight person. I'm gonna run. I've moved around the country a lot in the last 5 years, and really what had happened is something would happen in my life, some moment, one of these things that would cause me embarrassment, getting fired, and I would want to move. I'd want to bounce. I want a new environment, a new scene to recreate myself. And the truth is, you can't run from yourself. You're always there with you, right? And so that happened again. I had another trigger, and I'm sitting here right now, I can't even think of what the trigger was, and it wasn't that long ago, but I decided that this time I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to run to New York. I'm not going to go spend the summer in New York. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit right here, and I'm going to figure this shit out. I'm going to figure out what my problems are, right? Start doing the work. And I was gaining some ground, and I unearthed a lot of trauma. But I still wasn't really gaining any ground. I still was sort of like feeling stuck and not being able to move forward. And it wasn't until I got this book, like, 2 months ago, 8 weeks ago, where it really started to click for me that I needed to be grateful. And the lesson for me was, I thought I was a grateful person. I'm a good person. I have good morals. But I realized I have never truly been grateful. And to give you my backstory is that, I come from a large family, and I have an older sister, and for a while I was the middle child because I have a younger brother, and then, my parents kept on having the babies. And so there's a bunch of us, and I always felt lost in the mix, right? Some of the trauma that I was walking around with is I was a trans child, an undiagnosed trans child, who was also dealing with middle child syndrome. So I felt overlooked a lot. Like, my dad used to have these family meetings, and what he would do is he would get my sister, my younger brother, and my youngest brother sometimes, or he would get my sister and my youngest brother to sort of represent the kids when it came to decision making. Where do y'all want to go to eat? Since there's so many of us, he would just grab them, and they were the voice for us. And so I often didn't have a voice for myself, and it was really frustrating. Also being a younger child, you get hand-me-downs. I always felt like I was vying for attention. And then, later on in life, I discovered that my dad was always aware of my trans identity. Not just that I, was a feminine boy who liked boys, but he recognized that there was a woman in here. We've talked about this, and he didn't know what to do with it. It was really scary for him. And so the way he dealt with that was he was hands off. He was a great provider. We did have one-on-one time. We did a lot of stuff, but the only way he knew how to relate to me was as his son. And so when he saw that wasn't working, he was hands off. And so what that created in me was a sense of an abandonment. And I was always looking for attention and looking for what I didn't have, right? Instead of recognizing what I did have. That came down to the gifts, because I wanted feminine gifts. So I was constantly taking for granted the things that I did have in my life, and so I didn't know I was still holding on to this. But once I started practicing gratitude, it felt so new to me. Doing it consistently, it became crystal clear that this was something that had been missing in my life, because I couldn't understand why I kept coming up again, that I kept dealing with the same shit, the same problems, why I kept dating the same man, and, the same kind of man and different men, why my problems were the same, why I kept being in career situations that ended up being empty, because I had this block. I couldn't see the opportunities, right? Sometimes there are things in life that are being presented to you, opportunities, but if you're not vibrating on it, you can't hang on to it, or you can't even see it. Oprah says all the time about people who win lots of money and they can't hold on to it. That's also been me. I was telling my sister the other day, we were having a conversation about the fact that when I was a model and how much money I was making, thousands and thousands of dollars a day, sometimes thousands of dollars an hour, and I couldn't hold on to it because I didn't feel worthy. I wasn't appreciative. I was appreciative, but I really wasn't truly grateful for everything that was happening in my life because I was caught up in my trauma, right? I couldn't let go of my trauma. But once I really started to practice gratitude in the smallest of ways, the biggest moments of healing started to happen. And once that started to happen and I could look around and see all these amazing things I had to be grateful for, it was kind of silly to be depressed. I really didn't have anything to be depressed about. I was depressed because I was not focused on my now. I wasn't focused on all the things I have in my life to be grateful for. And since I've shifted, my life has changed so much. It's still a practice. What I recognize is every day I have to be aware that I have the potential to self-sabotage. I have the potential to be lazy. I have the potential to overlook the goodness in my life. So it's a practice that I have to be aware and conscious of. But now I see all these amazing opportunities in my life, and I just simply have to take advantage of them. But so much, I've just changed. And it's funny, my mom said to me today, she's like, I noticed this change in you. You needed this shift, this change, and people see you, and people are out there in the world are really good, and people want to help you, and people want to, give you what you want to need because we are the universe. And so people have seen me, and now that I am radiating more happily, I'm more happy, I'm more consistent, I'm more positive, people want to be around. Think about it in your life. Like, I know I'm this way. When people start to become really negative, I start to back away. I don't need that in my life. My sister has been one of those really great blessings in my life. She is a successful career person, and have found in this last 6 to 8 weeks that my vibration has risen. We've been spending so much more time together, and her blessings are starting to overflow to me. And it's like, I couldn't be more grateful. And that's what gratitude will and can do for you. And I'm so excited about it when I talk about it because I've seen the change. I've seen the shift in my life, and I just want to share it. Honestly, the back and forth that I've had with YouTube for so long is that it's something that I've wanted to do, and I really want to do, and I enjoy doing, and I would love to do it as a career. And my goal is for that to be what I do. And it's the reason why I'm uploading all these videos, because I have an arsenal of videos and I want to do so. But now I can really see the vision, and I'm really to do the work. And listen, this is what my purpose is. My purpose is not just sharing my story, but it's about being positive and being a beacon and being my best self, And so I wanted to share that with you guys and share with you where I'm at, because one of the other reasons that I've been wanting to put these videos on this channel is, one, the opportunity to hopefully make money off of these videos soon. But I want you guys to be able to see the progression and see where I am right now. Like, I couldn't be happier. And I'm grateful for it. And I also take ownership for the work that I've been doing. This is what the work is. You've got to face your fears. You've got to face your traumas. You've got to heal yourself. You've got to be brave. And the universe will rise up to meet you. The universe is always giving you what you need. So if you're living a life that doesn't look right to you, if you're experiencing depression and anxiety, and what's some of these other things that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about with you guys, indecision, self-sabotage, all of those things are happening in your life mainly because you're not living in the now and you're not fully present. Anxiety is a result of either living in the past or the present. Usually it's about living in the present. But it's also, try being grateful. And sometimes I feel like depression is this sort of, not elitist, I love that word, elitist, self-indulgent. You know, get outside of yourself for a moment. Be grateful. Go do something for someone else because we're all here for each other. I'm going to leave it here. I love you guys so much. Love and light, peace and blessings. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I just want to squeeze in here. I have more old videos I'm going to post, but I'm going to peek my head in from time to time just to say hi until I'm ready to, get this going on an ongoing basis. As always, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.